which wrestler would you say you had the best and the worst chemistry with, and why?
I never had good chemistry with Perry Saturn. But here's the thing, though. It doesn't mean that he wasn't good, because he was very good. There's just certain guys that you just don't have good chemistry with. There's another guy called Koji Kanemoto in New Japan, one of the all-time greats. I could not figure out a way to have a good match with that guy. I couldn't do it. But then put me in there with, like, Travis Tomko, and we're tearing the house down every night. Like, it's just certain guys you just can't click with. But I must have wrestled Perry, I'd say 30 times, and we never had a good match. And it kind of unspoken. We're like, really? Can we try something else? It just doesn't work. Good chemistry. I always had great chemistry with The Rock. Always great chemistry with Shawn. Moxley, Eddie Kingston. I mean, Eddie Kingston, I've had 3 5-star matches in a row. You know, you would never think that when you see Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho on a page together, but there's just certain guys that you jive with, and those are the best matches that you can have.
Have you ever met Ozzy Osbourne?
Yes, Ozzy guest hosted Raw, and this was, remember when they used to do all the guest hosts on Raw every single week, and Vince always put me with the guys. I'm like, why are you putting this? You're the only guy that can get anything out of a pal. So listen, you get Bob Barker, who was great, Mike Tyson was great. You get Al Sharpton, or like the NASCAR drivers. It's like, yeah, we love Single H. So we literally said, Single H? What wrestling show do you watch? So
was the other one not Summerfest?
Summerfest, this is terrible. It was really bad. But I had to go out there with these guys and like try and get them over because whatever, because I'm a wizard. So. So I see Ozzy, and I'm like, so we were doing a backstage bit, and it's me and Ozzy, and I was like, hey, man, it's good to see you, man. And Sharon's like, oh, you're such a cutie. Sharon had a crush on me, so Ozzy's back there, and I'm cutting a promo on Ozzy, right? And Vince's like, I want you to be yelling at Ozzy. And I'm like, Ozzy, you've sold out with Ultimate Sin, and you've never been the same since Sweet Leaf, and you've become a corporate shill. And then Vince goes, now, Ozzy, I want you to call him a wanker. And Ozzy's like, hold on, man. I can't call him a wanker. Vince goes, why not? I'm like, since when did Ozzy become the voice of reason when it comes to saying? He goes, what's wrong with calling him a wanker? And Ozzy's like, he's fucking like tossing off, man. He's like jacking off, man. Vince goes, well, nobody in the United States knows what that means. But Ozzy goes, I watch your show every week in England, man. It's all around the world. And Vince is like, good point, Ozzy. Call him a jerk instead. And so it was funny because I asked Ozzy, like I always wanted to know what some of the initials mean. And we know the initials that Ozzy sings, like NIB by Black Sabbath. What does that stand for, Ozzy? Does it stand for like nativity in black? Like I always thought it was like some evil nativity. He's like, no, man, I don't even know what nativity in black means. He goes, my drummer at the time had a beard like the nib of a pencil. So I called the song Nib. And then I'm like, okay, Diary of a Madman album. There's a song called SATO. Ozzy, what does SATO mean? Does it stand for Sail Across the Ocean? He's like, that's stupid, man. Where'd you hear that? I'm like, that's what my friends and I thought for you. No. SATO. I went out for dinner with me and my ex-wife and Sharon and her ex-husband, and it was SATO. SATO stands for Sharon, Alan, and then he's trying to remember what the T stands for. Thelma and Ozzy. Thelma's your ex-wife? And they're finally leaving at the end of the night, and Ozzy's very cool. He leaves, and Sharon finally leaves. And Sharon leaves, and she slaps my ass. She gives me a wink. It's like, wow, Sharon's got a crush on me. So I f***ed her. That was so easy.
So the next one is if/when WWE induct you into the Hall of Fame. Number one, would you accept? And number two, who would you like to induct you from Ricky?
I have this kind of romantic idea. Like, I love the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I watch the ceremony every year. And my all-time two favorite inductees are the Sex Pistols and Guns N' Roses / Axl Rose. And the reason for that is they both refused to accept the nomination, to where Axl Rose told the host of the show and the inductor of Guns N' Roses, "You are not allowed to say my name. Guns N' Roses is here, and the lead singer / Duff, blah, blah, blah. You can't say my name. I'm not accepting it." And then the Sex Pistols sent a letter saying, "We think that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is filled with swine. We do not accept this nomination. Never mention us in the same sentence as the Hall of Fame again." And I'm like, that'd be really cool if I did that. Like, if I ever got the induction, I think I would rather be the one guy that doesn't go in, but sends a letter. "I do not accept this nomination because the WWE Hall of Fame is filled with swine, and you are not allowed to use my name." I mean, how cool would that be? If I ever did go in, once again, I don't like that stuff, man. Like, if I want cheers from my friends, from you guys, I'll come do these shows. This to me is better. You know? I mean, I don't need a rubber stamp saying, like, "You're a Hall of Famer." I'm already a fucking Hall of Famer, right? Who cares? So that's kind of the way that I see that.
We got one last question, which I think is probably the way to end on. This is, you're a heel, so why do you still have a babyface theme tune?
It's a great question, right? And I love how everybody asks that, and you see it on Twitter and online. It's like, if Jericho really wanted to be a heel, he would drop Judas. Oh, how can you still use Judas? Well, here it's very simple. Here's the reason why. Because Tony Khan wants to use Judas. That's the most simple answer I can give you. Rich Ward from Fozzy and I actually came up with a remix of Judas that kind of had less of a sing-along, still had kind of a more of a kind of a techno type of beat to it. It was really cool, but it was different. It's still Judas, but there's really no singing along. And Tony was like, "I love it," but he goes, I actually really understand what he's saying. He's saying, this is a very unique moment that you only get on AEW, which is the entire audience singing along to Judas. So yes, we can pull the song, and 1 week you're going to get booed, and then what's your ring music? You know, some techno mix of Judas or whatever. Like, it's part of the highlight of watching our show. Even tonight when I walked out, you guys were singing it. Happens every week. In Houston, when MJF banned me from using it, everyone sang it a cappella. It was brilliant. So yes, I am a heel. Yes, I have this ring song that people like to sing along to, but I think we'd be kind of crazy to take it away just to steal it from the people, when meanwhile, it's something that you can only see in AEW that adds to the cool factor of our show, and that's what AEW is, the coolest wrestling company in the world today, right?